Oh, what a beautiful, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. I've been sitting there all day. And it feels like just a minute has gone by because the depth of the stories that are shared are going to fill my soul for the rest of my life. Sometimes, as you know, it gets lonely out there, but I don't feel lonely today. I don't feel lonely today. You know, as Pete Seeger said, I think the world's going to be saved by millions of small things. He said, I grew weary of big things, but those small things are each of us right here. And the change that's going to happen once we leave this room and we go back out into the world is going to be tremendous. You know, I had a chance to sing over in Berlin at a festival a few years back, and I was singing This Land Is Your Land by Woody Guthrie, and halfway through the song, a man from the balcony stood up and screamed, "This is not your land, it's Indian land." And I'm in Germany. This is Indian land. And I had to stop singing. I said, "Speak." And he was from the Sami nation. His skin as fair as mine, indigenous. And what he wanted to share with the people, he wanted to put a stop to the hydroelectric dams being built that were affecting the migration of the reindeer. And that's when I discovered the Moccasin Express, because as soon as my plane landed, I ran into like Lisa Bellinger over here from the American Indian Movement. And all of a sudden, from the American Agriculture Movement, I moved into the American Indian Movement. And through that process, I was singing for farmers, trying to stop a high-voltage power line in central Minnesota. And Clyde Bellecourt, one of the co-founders of the American Indian Movement, was speaking. And what he said, he looked at the family farmers and said, what they're doing to you is what they did to us. The family farmer is the American Indian today, being driven off the land in the same way that we were driven off the land. And through that, they joined hands and they built a coalition. And I'm so honored to be here because back in the late 1970s, I hopped aboard that tractorcade and I took thousands of photographs and hundreds of hours of interviews with farmers. And I want to share with you just a few of those songs from that time, poems and stories. It won't be long, only about 10, 15 minutes. And then, oh, yeah, up there, that's Mr. Clark McGinnis up there, because after I was on that tractorcade, I worked on a combine crew, and this man was a poet that I met in Nebraska. But here's a Woody Guthrie tune. It's not This Land Is Your Land. It's called Hard Traveling', and a few new verses to it that I wrote on the tractorcade with farmers. There's a few lines in this that just keep repeating, and don't hesitate singing with me if you wish, okay? I've been doing some hard traveling, I thought you know. I've been doing some hard traveling way down that road. Cut that wheat, bale that hay, trying to make about $1 a day. I've been doing some hard traveling low. I've been growing them sugar beets, I thought you know. Outside of Milan, Minnesota, way down that road. Got the best crop that you ever seen, but I'm still as broke as I can be. I've been doing some hard traveling, Lord. I've been riding that tractorcade. I thought you know, riding that big John Deere way down that road. Tractor rolling, window blowing, ice and sleet. Sure been snowing, I've been doing some hard traveling, Lord. Dance floor's open. Been fighting for my way of life. I thought you know, miss my kids and my wife way down that road. They said, Paul, you gotta go. We'll stay at home and do the chores. I've been doing that hard traveling road. I've been going down that interstate. I thought you know, with farmers from across the United States down the road. When we get done with DC, we're gonna turn it into AC. I've been doing some hard traveling, and as we go from town to town, I thought you know, people say give them hell way down that road. Tell them politicians for me to get you farmers parity. I've been doing some hard traveling, Lord. Bring your hands together. I've been talking to them senators. I thought you know, talking to them Congress people way down that road. Said I'm sick and tired of your lies, bribes and corporate ties. I've been doing some hard traveling, Lord. I've been doing some hard traveling, Lord. I've been doing some hard traveling, Lord. Thank you. On that tractorcade, I met a farmer named Les Kettleson, and from around Milan, Minnesota. And Les, he talked about the Great Depression and having these Chautauqua gatherings just like this. Having music, poetry, stories, people talking, sharing their culture, sharing their thoughts, coming together and lifting each other up. I mean, he was only like 10 years old, and he memorized this poem that goes, down on the farm about 4:30, slip on my pants, sneak out the door. Out to the barn, I run like the dickens to milk the cows and feed the chickens. Grease up the wagon, pull on the rack, put a jug of water on the old grain sack. Hitch up the horses, hustle down the lane. Gotta get the hay in, looks like rain. Look over yonder, sure as I'm born. Cattle in a rampage, cows in the corn. Run across the meadow, run a mile or two. I'm heaving like a wind broke, got wet clear through. Now I worked all summer, didn't make a thing. I got less cash now than I did last spring. But when spring rolls around, I'll take another chance. While the fringe grows longer on my old gray pants, grab my belt, give another jerk. I'm fit as a fiddle for another year's work down on the farm. Down on the farm. Down on the farm. Down on the farm. Now, some folks say there ain't no hell, but they ain't farmed, so they can't tell. Grandma was born and raised on a farm in Iowa. When I was young, she would pray for those who work the soil. Oldest one of 7 kids, helped her ma raise each of them, shucking corn and slopping pigs, chickens in the yard, fetching water from the well in 2 5-gallon pails, carving out a well-worn trail to the kitchen door. Give a prayer tonight for the farmer. Give a word of thanks for the labor. It was back in the late 1970s that I joined that tractorcade. It got started by a lonesome farmer from North Dakota in a non-enclosed cab, a full beard, and icicles stretching down to his waist. People stood on top of bridges and waved him on, and he just looked back with that frozen grin and kept on driving. Soon other farmers joined him. By the time we crossed the Iowa-Minnesota state line, we were 20 tractors long. But by the time we left Iowa, we were 10 miles long, single file. Soon farmers joined us from Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, New Mexico, Colorado, even one tractor from California. We were 20 miles long, single file, going into small towns where the farm co-ops fueled up those tractors for free. Soon farmers joined us from Mississippi, Louisiana, Georgia, Alabama, Florida, the Carolinas. By the time we reached Appalachia, we were 60 miles long. When we came down the other side into our nation's capital, we were 100 miles long. But when we got into Washington, D.C., there were no marching bands there to greet us. It was the black churches that took us in. The police fired powdered mace into an enclosed cab of a Georgia farmer, then corralled all those farmers and all those tractors onto the downtown mall and circled us in with metropolitan buses parked bumper to bumper. There was no way we could get out. The farmers said, "Let my tractors roll, let my people go." But the police said no. But something happened. The largest blizzard to hit Washington, D.C. in 100 years hit when the farmers were in town, and the only thing that could move were those tractors. So the farmers said, "We'll haul your doctors, your nurses, your patients to the hospital." The police said no, but the Prince George Fire Department heard about it. They said, "We got homes burning down. We got people dying out here. You gotta let them go." So off they went. When all was said and done, those farmers saved hundreds of people's lives. And the Prince George Fire Department gave them a citizenship award and took me on a limousine tour with my guitar, my tape deck, and my camera, and I interviewed people who would have died if the farmers hadn't come to town that year. I never will forget going to an elderly African-American gentleman's home who needed to be hooked to a dialysis machine. He said I was getting sick, real sick. He said, I lowered my head in prayer, and I prayed that my death might be quick. And then he said, when I got done praying, I lifted up my head and looked out my plate glass window, and what did I see? But a farmer with a strike cap on and a tractor in my driveway. He said, I didn't know if I had died yet or not. Give a prayer tonight for the farmer. Give a word of thanks for their labor. Can you sing that with me? Give a prayer tonight for the farmer. Give a word of thanks for their labor. You know, Woody Guthrie told this story, and as you could tell, I walk in those footsteps of Woody. I've tried to carry on this tradition my whole life, and that's how I got close to Pete. Because Pete knew Woody. Woody was older, and Pete was younger, and Woody was an elder to him. Woody took Pete under his wing, and Pete kind of did that with me. He took me under the wing, too. And it all happened because I didn't think about it now. Excuse me, I'm rambling off script. But it didn't happen until the tractorcade. Because what happened was I was singing for these farmers trying to stop this high voltage power line along with the late Senator Paul Wellstone, who said, we all do better when we all do better. And Governor Walsh is a disciple of Senator Paul Wellstone. And he's a friend of mine because we come out of that Wellstone thinking of the Midwest, of common decency, of treating neighbors right. As Woody said, left wing, right wing, or chicken wing, it don't matter. People are people. And anyway, when I went into the strike office in Appleton, Minnesota, and I met Ann Canton, Minnesota Assistant Secretary of Agriculture later, and her husband Chuck. And I was singing these Woody tunes, and this old guy was sitting there with a cane. And they were all calling him Governor. And when I got done singing, he said, you remind me of Woody Guthrie and Pete Seeger. And I looked at him and said, how do you know them? And I found out that he was the farmer labor governor. Farmer labor governor. Farmer labor governor of Minnesota after Floyd B. Olson. And during the Great Depression, Woody and Pete came through tramping just like this, playing music for the people. And they were singing for striking lumberjacks. And when Elmer Benson got elected as a farmer labor governor, the lumberjacks went on strike. And what did Governor Benson do? He called out the National Guard. But not on the strikers, but on the company. And they won that strike. And what Woody Guthrie often said, he told this story about the he-rabbit and the she-rabbit being chased by a pack of dogs into a hollow log. And while those dogs were circling around that hollow log, that he-rabbit nudged up a little closer to the she-rabbit and said, "What are we going to do now?" She said, "We'll stick it out till we outnumber them." That's what we're going to do. And we're going to have fun doing it. Anyway, after that tractorcade, I got hired to work in Nashville, Tennessee with Agricultural Marketing Project, where I worked under Lindsey Jones and John Velchek, who eventually got hired by Mr. Hightower to help set up farmers markets in Texas. I got hired to do that in Columbia, Tennessee. We ended up getting the key to the city, of all things, but organizing black and white producers of fruits and vegetables into farm co-ops and church parking lots. Can you repeat after me? Food fair? A little more gusto. I'll go first. Ready? Food fair. You got it. Anyway, Columbia is not far from Pulaski, where the Ku Klux Klan got started. And I was living in a sharecropper shack when I was organizing, and I found myself sleeping with one eye open because I was working with both black and white producers of fruits and vegetables. But it was a victory. We did it. And here's a song all about it. And it's my last song, my parting shot. So we'll try to do with some gusto. Okay, you got your part? What's your part? Okay. Food fair, where the farmers and the people. Food fair. Oh, you're good. I can feel the spirit of Pete here. They don't need no middleman. Food fair, where the farmers and the people, they work together hand in hand, oh Lord. Try that. Working together hand in hand. Try that. Working together hand in hand, oh Lord. Working together hand in hand. And they talk about the hunger there is in the world, the hunger that we got at home. And together we can all make a change. Together we are strong. Food fair, where the farmers and the people. Food fair. Boy, this makes me happy. They don't need no middleman. Food fair, where the farmers and the people, they work together hand in hand, oh Lord. They work together hand in hand. Now the big money people at first didn't mind when the farmers first came to town, till they saw all the people coming every day buying food for less than retail. So they called up the mayor and the health inspector, and they talked about the zoning law. They said food being sold out in the open, it must surely be against the law. but letters they came from miles around, addressed to the city hall, reminding the mayor that it was election year and he better not outlaw food fair where the farmers and the people. Food fair, they don't need no middleman. Food fair where the farmers and the people, they work together hand in hand. Oh Lord, they work together hand in hand. So the mayor decided that it might be best to leave well enough alone, 'cause after all, what could be wrong with food that is homegrown? Food fair where the farmers and the people. Food fair, they don't need no middleman. Food fair where the farmers and the people, they work together hand in hand. Oh Lord, here we go, working together hand in hand. And there's a new day a-comin', and it's not far off, from sea to shining sea. In every city, town and state, there'll be a food fair for you and me. Food fair where the farmers and the people. Food fair, they don't need no middleman. Food fair where the farmers and the people, they work together hand in hand. Oh Lord, they work together hand in hand. I'll try this. Working together hand in hand. Oh Lord, working together hand in hand. Working together hand in hand. Oh Lord, working together hand in hand. Little stronger. Working together hand in hand. Oh Lord, working together hand in hand. Working together hand in hand. Oh Lord, reach out to the person beside you if you feel like it. Working together hand in hand. One more time. Working together hand in hand. Oh Lord, working together hand in hand. Thank you so much.